Oh, brother, what are you crying for? Oh, brother. Give Angie a hug, will you?
How are you? I gotta get a lotto ticket. We gotta win, right?
I brought you a big can of buglers, is that all right?
Good, Tony.
I knew that she knew. She told you we were coming, didn't she? She knew.
I know, but he didn't know.
Oh, you didn't say a word, but when we hung up, I said, when we hung up with you, I said, if she knows.
I've got the DJ to get the bird. Him,
Okay?
Lumen Cargo would have been here, but
I was sick.
I didn't think you guys ever could.
She knew, I knew that she knew. We're only 10 minutes away, we're up at the... What's the name of the place we're in?
Notice before the sun.
congratulations on 50 years you put up with it.
You know how she can't look out. Because the halo overhead put me together. 50 years.
You guys are pretty close. You guys did
Yeah, well, nobody can work on things next year.
Next year, huh?
They go into.
Oh, and you know you want my face in there, you know. No, we don't. I'm up in that.
All right, now, boy. All right, go. Okay, what?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. We're glad you all came. It's just a great turnout for Mom and Dad tonight. So first of all, I want to say my great heartfelt thanks to everyone that came tonight. And I hope you all had a great meal. The second thing, we'd like to, since I don't know if everyone knows the kids, meaning our Mom and Dad's kids here. I guess that would be me, and I'm the oldest, so I get to talk. But I introduce myself. I'm Mike Warblow. I guess I'm the first one. And my family beside me here is my wife, Denise. My lovely wife, Denise, I should say. And I got there she is. My daughter's sitting right over here, Jennifer, and her two children, Stephanie and Brandon, my grandchildren. And my son couldn't make it tonight. And to my right here is my sister Pam, and I'll let her introduce her family.
I guess I'm not the second, but I'm the third. And to my right is my husband Tom and my two children, Caitlin and Nicole. And the second one is Bob.
Hey, thank you. My name is Bob Warblow. I'm the second one. And this is my wife, Cindy. My beautiful wife, Cindy. My son, Ryan, Matthew, and my daughter, Bethany. And the last, but forgotten hopefully sometime.
Nobody can forget me.
I'm Joy, I'm the youngest, and this is my husband Kevin, my oldest son Patrick, and God only knows where Owen is. Owen's over there, and here's Kate, and I guess you all know. Oh, Kelly!
let's see, I think I became involved with these two people on my left I think it's 20 years or so ago. In fact, I kind of attribute all of my sparkling attributes to these two people. My good looks, and my charm, and of course my personality. Oh, that's right. Well, in all reality though, these two people did instill many important values in all four of us. Bits of wisdom. I know that's hard to believe knowing father, but there were some bits of wisdom. And believe it or not, I still carry many of those around with me today. But the biggest thing, though, as I look back on all the years, is that they were always there for all four of us. Now, these values they taught us through events that happened in our daily lives throughout growing up. And if I could sit back and just recall a few, if you'll bear with me a few minutes here, I promise not to take more than 2 hours. I'll try to pick a few highlights. First one of the things I remember involves my father here. And one of the things I remember is going to Tiger baseball games with my brother and I, and my dad, and my grandfather Max. And I'll never forget him because we'd always stop at the bar before we even left the neighborhood. And his son would whine all the way to Tiger Stadium, which was about an hour drive, and all the way back about his driving and his drinking too. But again, that little lesson taught me patience. So I learned as a father that you had to have patience with your children. Yeah. Well, you were a different story. The second event I'd like to recall is my mother sitting through all those boring Little League games that I played, watching me strike out or drop all the balls that I used to drop. And I learned from her, again, patience and a lot of understanding. The third event that I'd like to call to mind is both parents took us on many camping trips. Took us all over the United States, all four of us, from one end of the United States to the other. And there was a lot of educational things that we developed in those times. But that brought together, I believe, some togetherness as well as family values I was taught. The next thing that I remembered about my mom and dad was my father again. This time was in Maine someplace, and this value was toughness. And the one I remember about this is we had some lobster. I think it was Dad's first time lobster. We didn't get down the road and he got violently ill. But the one thing that I remember him doing is we never pulled off the side of the road. Never stopped. Kept right on going. Hell bent for leather, you know, and just kept right on going. So Mother held the bag, I believe. So I learned toughness from my father. The fifth event, if I can recall, was my mom taking us here and there, being the chauffeur, driving us to all the many events we always went to, and taking care of all of our scrapes and our bruises and everything that we always came in. So I learned compassion and caring as well as all this other stuff that was coming around. So you can see through all this that it was an accumulation of many things that made all four of us actually who we are today. And mostly though, it really wasn't all of that, it was really just Mom and Dad. These two, I feel, have earned the gold star for parenthood. I mean, anyone who could raise, well, Bob, Pam, and Joy had to be saints, you know. The times those three put them through, I just couldn't tell you. But in reality, again, the memories that I have retained, and believe me, at my age, there's not too many of them, are all good memories. They really are. Memories of a happy home with two loving and caring parents who still today make us feel all that same way. Who, when we visit, which sometimes is a little too often, I know for them, they will still make us feel right at home, and home will always be here. So I'm proud at this point to say that these two people, Dutch and Joyce on my left, are my parents. And the parents of those other three, what were their names? Thank you very much. Well, my sister had something she'd like to say too.
Okay, we were just searching the net and we found this little poem that we'd like to share with you. called the Priceless Golden Years. 50 precious golden years, the greatest years in life. Years of trust and patience as a loving husband and wife. Planning things together and watching dreams come true. Sharing little secrets meant especially for two. Remembering moments filled with both sad and happy tears. No wonder that they're known as the priceless golden years.
We have one more surprise for you here. We have a gentleman that knew Dad way back when, I think when he was young, but that was a few years ago. His name is Mr. John McNamara, and he was in the Marines with my father. And again, that speaks wonders right there. And he wants to put up with Dad any longer than that. It's got to be a saint as well. So he hails from Massachusetts, and he's here to have a few words about Dad as well tonight.
Yes, and it still brings tears to my eyes. It was a fitting send-off, but I'm here tonight to talk about Dutch and Joyce, two of the finest friends that we ever had. My wife Evelyn, Tony DeMuro, and Angie, they came from Illinois to be here tonight, and we came from Massachusetts. Tony was a machine gunner in L35, L Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, and Dutch and I were riflemen. And I guess we went into Okinawa with 231 men in our company, and 31 of us came off the island. All the rest were either killed or wounded. And of those 31, 25 of us were wounded. So it was kind of a bloodbath. But I'm not here to tell gory stories, just to tell you what Dutch went through. Excuse me, man. But I gotta let Joyce in on a secret. one of many. She really doesn't know it, but I wrote all the love letters to her. And the reason for that is Dutch couldn't spell. It all started when he was writing a letter one day. He said, "Help me out with this, will you, Mac?" I said, "Sure." So I looked at it, and my God, there were just, 8 or 10 four-letter words. I said, "You're not telling me." Tell her she looks beautiful. He said, "She won't believe me." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because she knows I can't spell beautiful." So from then on, Joyce, I was really the one, All he did was sign his name. But as I say, I've known 75 years ago, April 1st, we landed on Okinawa. That was the last battle of the World War II. It was a 60-mile long island, and in 4 months, 265,000 people were killed on that island. It was the bloodiest battle of World War II. Anyway, that is Japanese, the Okinawans who suffered horribly, and the Americans. Just to give it, but I was only on one battle. Having been a drill instructor at Paris Island, I didn't get overseas only in time to fight Okinawa. But Dutch Warblow was on 4 invasions, 4 major invasions. And to my knowledge, he didn't have a scratch on him. He was wiry enough, I think he could see a bullet coming, you know? But getting back to Dutch and Joyce, Evelyn and I were camping with them many, many times. We had a camper and they did, and we'd meet down in Alabama quite a bit, and we traveled to Texas. And one Sunday we'd go to our church, the next Sunday we'd go to their church, and I guess you'd call that very ecumenical, right? And we really loved them, or we wouldn't be here. They're one of the nicest couples that we know. And of course, that's why we're here, to see it. But now, the other side of the story. I gotta tell you about Dutch. Dutch was one of the most fearless Marines that I knew. You never knew you affected me this way, did you? But when I was with Dutch Warblow, I knew I was safe. We shared many foxholes together. And I'll tell you, I was never with a finer Marine in my life. We had to hold him back many times. Because when they called for volunteers, this guy was the first one to go out all the time. And we'd have to grab a hold of his coattails to keep him from going. I don't think he'd be here today because he just did. You can't imagine the kind of a fighter he was. One of the finest rifle shots I ever saw. He was one of the few that could fire from the hip. And that probably saved his life many times. But Dutch knows how I feel about him, and I know how he feels about me. And before we have a little bit of fun, I'd like to read a little poem. When I was a sniper, I didn't need these glasses. And this poem, to me, reflects Dutch Warblow. In a crowd, you're bound to spot him. He's standing so very tall. Not too much impresses him. He's seen and done it all. His hair is short, his eyes are sharp, but his smile a little blue. It's only an indication of the hell that he's gone through. He belongs to a sacred brotherhood, always faithful to the end. He has walked right into battle and walked back out again. Many people think him foolish for having no regrets. About having lived through many times others would forget. He's the first to go and the last to know, but never questions why. On whether it is right or wrong, but only do or die. He walks a path most won't take, and has lost much along the way. But he thinks a lot of freedom is a small price to pay. He has chosen to live a life off the beaten track, knowing while each time he's called, he may not make it back. So next time you see a devil dog standing proud and true, be grateful for all he's given. He's given it for you. Don't go up and ask him what it's like to be in war. Just thank God that it's your country he's always fighting for. And thank him too for all the hell he's seen in Cammy Green. And thank him for having had the guts to be a United States Marine. To you, Dutch. Thank you, but that's for you, Dutch. All of it. But I thought we'd have a little bit of fun, if you want to put up with it. I want to get Dutch out here, and I want to get Tony out here. Put on your L35 caps, and having been a drill instructor, I'm going to put them through the paces right out here today. And I'm going to make you wonder, after watching them march, how the hell we ever won the war. Come on, Dutch.
You got another Marine back here.
Bring him out here.
Come on, Andy.
There you go, Dutch. You're the man who was on Peleliu?
M35.
I'm happy to meet you,
I
sir.
was with the first Marines in Peleliu.
You're here, aren't you?
I'm here.
Okay, that's all.
It was close, though.
I don't want to take any guff, I'm not taking any guff from you guys. Over here. What's your first name?
Andy,
Andy, rate?
private first class.
Oh boy, we got him, private investigator. Come on, all of you over here. Tony, with hands out of your pockets. When did you ever see a Marine put his hands in his pocket? You too. And put your hat on right. Hey, no talking to me. Get the chairs out of the way here. I'm not going to have you do any push-ups. I don't think they can do it anyway. They're in great shape for the shape they're in, right? Hey, get your hands by your side. Detail. Hand, pull. Hands by your side, you dope. This isn't funny, Warblow. What are you laughing about? The hell are you laughing about? I'm fine, you're the only one keeping a straight face.
Thank you, sir.
You don't talk back to the drill instructor. Right face. Come on, Tony, that means that way. Left face. Left face. Forward. Left forward, left, report. That means to the rear. Detail hall. Left face. What the hell are you smiling about? You think this is funny or something? You want to spend the night in the break? Well, you better get on the ball. You won't see Joyce again. And what are you laughing about? Hell are you laughing about? Get your head up. Belly in. Get your belly in. That's better. Aren't they great, huh? Give me a hand. Thank you. We'll see you again. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Now you can see we're very fortunate we won that war, honest to God. I gotta catch my breath. I'd like to sing a couple of little Irish ditties to Dutch and Joyce. They're not just Irish, they're from everybody. When first I saw the love light in your eyes, I dreamt the world had naught but joy for me. And even though we drifted far apart, I never dreamed but what I dreamed of thee. I love you as I never loved before. Since first I met you on the village green, come to me ere my dream of love is o'er. I love you as I loved you when you were sweet, 16. I'm running out of gas. I just got one more to do. He played it here tonight, but I've always had weddings. I like to sing this song to my special friends. I'm going to try to sing lower. I can't hit the high notes. when your old wedding ring was new, and each dream that we dreamed came true. I remember with pride how we stood side by side. What a beautiful picture you made as my bride. And even though silver crowns your hair, I can still see a gold ringlet there. And the flame is the same as the day I changed your name, when your old wedding ring was new. Thank you.
So, Dutch and Joyce, I really, if you have anything with you, please, if you raise your glass, just say thank you very much to my mom and dad, and thank you for all of you again for coming, and may the times go on forever. Thank you all very much. God bless you. Thank you.
And each dream with...
I don't want to. You say when, Joanne?
Whenever you're ready, go ahead. I'm taping.
Okay. Well, we're here at the Warblow home. Last night we attended the 50th wedding anniversary of Dutch and Joyce. We had a marvelous time. And my wife Evelyn came with me, and Tony, Gamiro, and Angela are here. And I feel quite honored to be sitting beside Dutch and Tony. All three of us were in L Company, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. Of course, Tony and I are just babes in the woods compared to Dutch. Dutch was in 4 invasions, starting with New Britain, New Guinea, Peleliu, and Okinawa. Tony and I were on Okinawa. Dutch and I were riflemen in L-35, and that's where I met Dutch on Okinawa, and Tony. And Tony was a machine gunner on Okinawa. I'd just like to ask Dutch a few questions because he's the veteran compared to all of us.
I don't know nothing.
We'll decide that later. I think that's already been decided, but we'll find out. But Dutch, I'd like you to tell us how old you were when you joined the Marines.
18.
18. I know you tried earlier.
Yeah, I
because
tried
you're
earlier.
underage.
4 of us tried.
Right after Pearl Harbor, shortly.
Well, I was in 11th grade, I guess. I was 17, that's just before I turned 18.
Yeah, okay. So that was in what, 1942?
41, I think.
41?
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor was in 41.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
That'd be
42.
42.
Yeah, I was in 11th.
And so you went to,
I would have graduated in 43,
okay.
so I'd be 42, yeah.
So you went to Camp Pendleton for your boot camp?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Camp Pendleton,
And how long, that was the usual 10 or 12 weeks, right?
something
And
like that.
Then
Okay.
you went overseas, and did you join the 1st Marine Division?
Well, I had a chance. I had a 30-day furlough. Then me and this other fellow I went in with, we was in boot camp together, and he said, we wanted to stay together, so we refused our 30-day furlough, and we went right overseas.
Right overseas, huh?
Yeah.
You wanted to get into it. You were mad at everybody,
Well,
right?
I didn't know what I was getting into.
You just wanted to kill Jeff, right? So where did you go? In the Solomons overseas? Is that where you started training? I mean, before you went into battle?
Well,
You must have been the Solomon Islands or somewhere right there. It wasn't for Boo-Boo then, the first
no,
time.
I think we ran right into New Guinea.
Right into New Guinea.
Yeah.
You landed on New Guinea. And now, how long a campaign was that?
Well, that was really wasn't any fighting. It was just we unloaded ships mostly because I was, like you say, a replacement on that.
Okay.
We unloaded ships, and then I unloaded ships on New Britain for the first 2 days, and then I went up and joined.
You were in the lines up there.
I joined Metzger then. He was in.
That was L-35 then, right?
Yeah, that was L-35.
Metzger was a lieutenant then, right?
Metzger was a lieutenant then.
And then
yeah.
he became a
Captain.
captain later on. Yeah, he was in charge of our company, right?
Yeah.
Okinawa. Yeah. So you were with him. You were both babes in the woods in a sense, right? You went in
Yeah.
together, and you stayed together then all the way even through Okinawa, right?
No, the guy you mean I went with, we got split up.
No, not the guy you went in with. I'm talking about Metzger, the officer.
Oh yeah, I stayed
He
with
was a
him.
lieutenant.
Yeah.
You
Then he
know,
went to captain. Yeah.
and then you, as I say, you went in together into combat. That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So after New Britain and New Guinea, then, did you go to Pavuvu then? Well, before Peleliu, or where did you go from there?
Well, we went back to, what, Russell Island, didn't it?
Well, the Pavuvu, right?
Pavuvu, yeah.
Okay, and then you went from Pavuvu to Peleliu,
Peleliu,
right? And that was a bloodbath, right?
yeah.
You lost a lot of buddies there.
Yeah, I had one guy from Chicago, lived right in the loop there.
Oh, yeah?
Eddie Cosmer, Jimmy Joyce. He used to come and visit us, and
Yeah. I know that
he got wounded twice, and he come home. You got 2 wounds, you had to come. You come home, and
we used to pray for two
Yeah.
Hollywood wounds, right?
Yeah,
One
yeah.
in each
Pray-
finger.
pray it did.
Never happened though. So then you went to Pavuvu, and so you had been in 3 campaigns already, and that's probably where you ran into Tony. No, Tony, you went into Okinawa like I did with a replacement outfit, right?
Yeah, well then, we went to Pavuvu first.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah. That was a beautiful island. God forbid.
Yeah, I heard it was a hellhole.
Oh God, that was a.
Yeah.
And then that's when we went to.
Every night you had the land crabs coming into
Right.
your tents, and you had a couple of guys went psycho over there in Pavuvu, right, Dutch? The guys
Yeah,
bayoneting people in their tents. I don't think they ever caught them. He
No,
was
I
a
don't-
Marine on Pavuvu.
Yeah. on
You
Pavuvu.
mean when the coconut groves there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I was on Benico.
I can't remember really.
No.
Well, I read about it.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he knows about it.
He was raising all the heck
He was bayoneting guys in their
Yeah.
beds at night, right?
at night.
One of your own men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that where you went for R&R, the Babalu?
I was on an island away from them, but they were on Pavuvu. I was on Benico, which is right there, anyway.
But that's kind of your R&R kind of
Yeah,
place you went?
getting ready for invasion.
Okay, I see.
But Pavuvu was a hellhole and Benico was beautiful. I lucked out, you know. We had thatched huts and just gorgeous where we were. We had the training and everything, but it was a gorgeous island, you know. Plus we had the Red Cross girls. They didn't dare send them over to you.
Well,
You guys were animals over
They
there.
had more casualties on Peleliu than any place
Oh,
else.
Peleliu, you know. They talk about,
Well, there was only when I walked off, there was only 21 in our company, 22 or 23 in our
out of
company.
240.
You know, something like that.
It was like Okinawa. There was 240. There were
But
just
you got
31 of us.
replacements in there.
Replacements, yeah.
Yeah, we got replacements.
But of the originals, you know.
But we didn't on Peleliu.
No, I know you didn't. You know.
Well, that's where we were going to be replacements for when we left California.
Oh, were you?
For Peleliu.
Peleliu.
But then when it was taken, they reverted the ship back to
Okay.
Pavuvu.
So actually, Peleliu was your first real combat experience.
Well,
in
you
a
can
sense.
more or less say that, yeah.
So you were up on the lines,
Yeah.
you know.
That was
and
the most,
Tell us about.
that was most hell.
Tell us about some of the hell.
Well, New Britain wasn't easy either,
No.
but that's where I got my first thrill.
First what?
Well, you went on
Thrill, did you call
well,
it?
I was scared, or what do you want to call it.
Yeah. What happened?
Well,
A little hand to hand?
Well, when I was unloading ships, the first day they had guys piled up there like cordwood, dead bodies, you know.
Oh yeah, bringing them out, yeah.
They're just like cordwood, you know. And they had brand new dungarees on and their
This
clean
is what?
dungarees.
This is New Guinea or New Britain?
New Britain.
New Britain.
That scared me more. I still think of that more than anything.
Yeah.
They had been in a battle on New Britain?
Yeah, well, they were the first wave to hit, and they got shot.
Yeah.
And they bring them up. They had just like cordwood, just bodies laying there,
Yeah.
pile of high, you know.
But when you landed
They
in
were
New
like
Britain, the
looking
fighting
guys,
was...
young guys, you know, young kids, you know.
Well, we're all
Just
young
like
kids.
yourself.
Well, that scared me the first time.
But
yeah.
tell me about your first experience in actual combat.
Well, I really can't tell you. I just did what they told me.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't do anything more.
Well, you can't tell me that because I was with you in Okinawa, pal. So I'm sure you didn't change from Peleliu
No, I was
to
no
Okinawa.
hero or anything. I just I did what I had to do.
I know you did.
And just got by. That's all.
Well, you also helped protect an awful lot of people, Dutch, you know. You held your own all the time. And as I said last night, knowing you were in my platoon was a hell of a relief, knowing that we had guys like you that would stand up and not run.
Well,
But then we all went to Okinawa, and that's where we all met,
Yeah.
in L35. I was with a
Right.
32nd replacement draft, and I was on the island for about 2 weeks and they split us all up, and that's when I joined L35 with you guys, you know. And that's when it hit the fan, right? Really hit the fan there, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. We went in with, what, 241 men and 31 of us, it's a picture of us, 31 of us. And of those 31, 25 have been wounded also. So we got kind of wiped out a little bit too, you know, right?
You
Well,
sure
then
did.
on,
Okinawa was no wee picnic,
no,
I'll tell you that.
because then, the one day, one morning, we're on the hill there, artillery came in, and I forget who it was, got hit, and we all rushed there, you know, and, picking up his body, the head, and his body was blown all apart.
You know, that happens a lot.
Biggest part of
And,
his arm was about
yeah.
this much of an arm.
Yeah.
We had to get the, you know, the poncho and pick up and put it together in the poncho. That was the most sickening thing.
We got Dutch a little bit, we'll get back to him, but you were with the machine gunners.
Yeah,
What was your duty with the machine gunners? Were you on the machine gun? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, on the machine gun.
yeah.
And tell us about your first experience where you know, you had to really take care of some of these Japs who were coming at you.
Oh, yeah.
You were up on a ridge probably.
Yeah. And then
Tell us about it.
Well, when they come up on the ridge, you know, let go and just mow the holy hell out of them, you know. You know, and pray to God that you knock them out of there, because
Hoping none of them got through.
that,
Yeah.
Jesus. You
At
know.
night was the worst time.
Yeah.
We had a few guys that had their throats slit, and
Oh, yeah.
Japs would get back in, and then you'd wake up in the morning, in the morning, when the light came, you'd call the roll, and somebody wouldn't answer, and he had his throat slit that night.
And then there was a cave over there where some Japs were, and so I was firing into the cave too, and so I elevated the machine gun a little bit, and I ended up caving that dirt, and I buried
Knocked them down, you buried them a little bit.
them,
Yeah.
whoever was in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was something else. God almighty.
Yeah.
And then with hell, if you start running out of ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I didn't have that happen too often. We ran low a few times, but we always had, even during the hurricane, the typhoon season, when the mud was that high, they always managed to get us the ammo. You feel the same way? I never ran low on ammo.
No, but the machine
We get
gunners did.
close.
I
Machine
remember
gunners
carrying,
did. Yeah, bringing
I
them.
carried bullets up to
Yeah,
them.
bringing the big cans of.
Box, yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on my shoulder, run up a
I
path.
think they used to use Tiny for that. If I remember, I used to see Tiny carrying cans all the time up to the machine gunners. You know?
Well, then, remember when we were running short of water? You know, and so when you move around, then there would be empty canteens laying around. I picked up those, that thing, and I would get a chance to fill. I ended up with 6 canteens of water.
Oh
on
yeah,
my
one
belt.
guy, whoever
And-
could get them would get it.
And what happened was some of the guys thought that was a little strange, but when they ran out of water,
Yeah.
they come to me for the water.
Well, I remember one time we were down by, it had to be a farm, Okinawan farm, and there was a well there with the bucket and everything.
Yeah.
And so we were dropping the bucket and bringing water up and filling our canteens. And about the 3rd day, the Jap body popped right up to the top. Yeah, popped right up to the top, but the water tasted good. It was nice and cold, it wasn't very hard to get everything had all that chlorine in it over there.
Remember they used to give us those pills you'd throw in the
Yeah,
water?
Adamant,
You threw them in there when you were doggone
Yeah.
thirsty. And
Yeah, you drink anything, yeah.
That's something though.
But, Tony, again, as we move forward, and we got down around Warner Ridge and Sugarloaf, Warner Ridge especially, like that's where we caught hell. Tell me about your experiences at that area, the caves and all that. Plus, we got hit with quite a few charges by the Japs at
Yeah.
night, and in the morning. And as you know, the rifle barrels, they get red hot, and
Oh yeah.
it would be anything. I mean, probably no word of a lie if you know that that morning you probably picked off 16 or 20 yourself. The
Oh,
rifle
yeah.
was so hot.
Well, then the
Tell
one,
us that,
then
how
the
it
one
was with the
time,
machine gunners. We were riflemen, but you guys,
yeah, but
you had to
one time,
protect us kind of, you know?
right, when I was firing my machine gun, all of a sudden, bullets were coming up this way, and if the Jap would have so naturally I put my head, you know, and protect it a little bit. If he would have elevated, he would have got me.
Cut you right too, yeah.
Yeah.
Would have kind of scared the holy heck out of you.
As you're
know.
talking about canteens, I remember I was with Dozier one time. Doyle Dozier was one of the greatest Marines ever lived. I think we
Yeah,
all agree
yeah.
to that. Poor guy is dead now, and he should have been decorated many times, but he had an officer that hated his guts, and the feeling was mutual among many of us. And I was with Dozier on a ridge one day, and we were under heavy fire, and my canteen got hit by a bullet, you know, and it
Oh, yeah.
exploded. And I didn't realize it. I knew something, and I looked, and there was my canteen. And so I rolled into the foxhole with Dozier, and a little while it was hot as hell, you know. Gee, that sun would remember to get real hot. And I said to Dozier, give me a swig, will you? Well, what I didn't know was Dozier had Applejack in his canteen. He made the juice out of, what did we get? The canned, the juice, the grapefruit juice.
Right.
Grapefruit juice, and he'd get a hold of some Jap 200 proof alcohol that was like rubbing alcohol. He'd mix it and put it in his can. I didn't know it was in the canteen. And geez, you know, I put my head back and took a swig. Oh, I thought smoke came out of my ears, you know. And he laughed. He used to kid me about that for years, you know. There's no wonder. The guy was, you know, he was half high all the time, and nothing bothered him. He was. I remember one day that we had a whole bunch of Japs out in front of us, dead, and the bodies had been there, and they were bloated and, you know, just wicked. And we hadn't been able to move because we were under artillery fire, and they wanted to see if any of them had any papers on them. And so DeRose asked Dozier, I think he always wanted to get Dozier killed, I swear to God he did. Dozier was always the gopher. And Dozier didn't mind. He just went out, and if you remember, he never wore a helmet hardly. He had that Aussie hat on all the time. And he went down around the bodies, and the word was passed, that's Dozier down there. You know, that was kind of hairy there. You could get picked off by your own men if they didn't know you were there. They think you were a Jap. And Dozier, it got dark, and he didn't come back. Well, I figured, we all figured he'd get killed, you know. And the next morning, we heard the password, and up comes Dozier. So he had a few papers that he took out of Jap's pockets, whatever. If they were any good or not, we never heard. He gave them to DeRose. And finally, he came in the foxhole. He smelled like hell because he was laying among the dead bodies all night. Because he said, when he was down there, he heard some Japs coming to go through the bodies to make sure nothing was there. And he laid there like a dead Jap. Dozier did. I mean, that was...
Well, Angie had a question.
I know, but
and
we had to
which
see where we're at
Okay,
here first.
all right, what was the
We might
last
have been
thing
in
you
the
were
middle of
talking
something, I
about?
don't know.
Okinawa?
You were talking about that character that was lucky to be alive.
Dozier.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
So I said, I got as far as saying he came back into the foxhole, right?
But you can
told
just
me
pick
that
it up from there. You're on, go
Oh,
ahead.
he told us, you know, that he stayed there all night because he was afraid to come back through the lines because it was getting dark. And he didn't want to take a chance and get picked off. So he laid there among the Japs. And he said while he was there, he heard some Japs talking. And now here come the Jap soldiers going through the bodies. And he said, fortunately, he played dead and they didn't come near him. He just rolled over because they all looked the same at night, I suppose, you know. They didn't dare have any flashlights, then we would have been shooting. Plus, probably would have picked off Dozier.
Well, then the one night, that Thrasher left the line, you know, he had to go to the washroom. And remember, you had a code, the signal. Password. So all of a sudden, somebody's calling back, we're calling with password, and he wasn't thinking. He didn't know how close he could come to getting shot.
That happened to a few guys.
He finally came up with the password, and I had my 45 ready to take whoever it was out.
Yeah, because they were always
Because you
infiltrating
never
the
know.
lines.
You never know, yeah.
They were always infiltrating the lines.
And then another time we got the Jap dead bodies. And one time after we had to bury the Jap bodies, and there was a bulldozer going by, and we asked the officer, get the bulldozer over. No, you shovel, and you talk about.
Oh, yeah. You can't imagine this.
Couple minutes, all you had to
Yeah.
do, stay there, because the smell was so bad, and some of the bodies were
They were bursting,
exploding,
they were
and the
bursting.
bugs were flying off. Oh, it was the most.
They were
nasty-
loaded with maggots, you know, the
magnet,
flies were
oh
laying their eggs on them.
God.
The eyes, the ears, the mouth would be full of
Yeah.
maggots, you know.
Yeah,
That was the worst thing that I ever saw, was we had advanced, and evidently some of our boys got killed out there, and we couldn't get to them. And we came upon 5 or 6 Marine bodies that hadn't been there quite a while, and they were just, all of the openings were full of maggots, you know. And it never bothered me with the Japs, but our own, that was something else.
Yeah, we did that.
Dozier used to
with,
collect your gold teeth.
Oh, yeah. He'd go into the...
He had a stocking full.
Yeah. The Okinawans they had burial vaults, and of course we'd go in them to get away from the artillery. They were big vaults, and there'd be big vases in there full of bones. That's how they buried their dead, okay, on Okinawa. These are the Okinawan people now. This is their religion. And of course we'd get in there to get away from artillery, you know, get out of the rain sometimes. And all of a sudden it dawned on some of the guys, and Dozier was one, that some of those, they looked, actually emptied out the vases, and they found out some of the teeth had gold in them. Dozier was using his knife to pick, he had a little bag of gold, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a bag of gold.
That kind of revolted me.
I asked him whatever happened to that bag of gold, and he never could, he said
I think he lost it, or
he
either
said
that, he traded it in China,
Yeah,
maybe.
he did something with it, I don't know.
Then another time, couple times we had to carry a couple of our buddies that got killed, Zook and Sacco that time, and carrying them back, in the poncho. God, that was.
That's the worst thing in the world.
That really tears the hell out of you.
The worst thing in the world was when you lost some of your close buddies, and they were all close
Yeah.
buddies, and you had to keep going. You had to just leave them there for the grave registration to pick up, because we were advancing,
Yep, right.
and you called grave registration, and you never saw them again.
Right.
Guys you were with, I had some young kids in school say, "What did you do when that happened?" I said, "You cried like a baby, what you did." That was the worst thing in the world, leaving your buddies behind and knowing you're never going to see them again, That
Well,
was,
the time, remember, one guy brought those new recruits in, and remember we were told, don't go in the caves, because
Yeah.
it could be booby trapped. All of a sudden we heard the explosion, we didn't know, then all of a sudden this guy that had these recruits, he comes walking by us, didn't say a word to nobody. Finally, he come out with it, and some of us went to the cave, and all these recruits were killed in there.
he took them in with him.
Took them
Great,
in there.
that was against all
Oh,
of
what
it,
a
yeah.
sight that was.
Yeah.
God, all the bodies, deformed and,
I was assistant barman there, and,
You what, Dutch?
on Okinawa, that was on Okinawa, and when the cave was caved in, bombed,
Yeah.
yeah.
and this Wood, I was his assistant, he was a barman, and I was his assistant.
Barman is BAR, Browning
Yeah.
Automatic Rifle.
Yeah.
I'd carry his ammunition with him for it.
Who was that, Gallagher?
It was named Wood, I think his name
Wood,
was.
okay.
But I can't picture him.
Yeah, all right.
Anyway, he had more guts. We went in this cave, it was all bombed out, it was burnt, so we went back in there and back in here. We went back in there, I don't know how far the heck it was. And here it was all this wine and beer.
Oh, yeah.
That was on Okinawa, you guys
Yeah.
gotta remember that. And we
Oh,
filled
yeah.
the truck up with that,
Yeah.
the truck up and we put it in.
You were lucky it wasn't
Yeah,
so
we went
wide.
across the island, see, and then we come back and we bivouacked, They roasted pigs out there, and I had a chicken. Remember that chicken I
Yeah.
had? I had a chicken on a string. He laid me an egg every day.
He did, I thought it was a duck, was it chicken?
Chicken,
Did
huh?
you cook the egg then? Did you?
Yeah, I boiled them
Oh,
or cooked them
absolutely.
in my helmet,
Oh.
They used to call it chin strap soup.
Oh,
The
okay.
chin straps, you take your helmet and you put that over the fire, so the chin straps had to go inside or they get burnt off. And we never needed salt because it was our own sweat full of salt. And
Wow.
whenever we found the gardens, the Okinawan people were gardeners, farmers, and we'd find the different things to dig up. We'd never get any meat or anything unless we roasted a pig, and throw all the vegetables in there, and we'd make our own soup. Sometimes you could do that. I mean, only if you're in an area for enough time, but we're moving most of the time. So that's what they call chin strap soup.
Those you put on them stars, you jacked stars on your shoulder.
Yeah,
Went down to
Yeah.
the army dump.
yeah. He came back with all kinds of goodies for
Colored
us.
guys are down there in the army dump. We got all the best
Yeah.
rations there was, 10 and 1.
Yeah.
That was a 10 and 1 ration, wasn't it?
Oh.
Well, then,
We had more food when we left there than we could ever eat.
Yeah.
In 100 years, I think.
I remember one time down, we're near the beach.
Fruit cocktail, you know, all
Yeah.
the best food there
Yeah.
was.
We're down near the beach where all the goodies were coming in, and there were some colored guys used to work down there, you know, the black guys, they call themselves. And I got friendly with one of them, and I said, any chance of diverting some of this stuff? He says, where you at? So I said, well, up the ridge up there. He said, what do you want? I said, peaches, because they had big cans of peach, the big cans, you know, however much they held. And he says, man, you want peaches? He says, what you got for me? I said, I'll give you a K-bar knife, because we had a bunch of them, took them off the dead guys, you know,
Yeah.
the knives. That was trade bait. He said, I'll get you up there. So, geez, that night, a truck came up, and there must have been 50 or 60 big cans on it, you know. We took them off, I gave him the K-bar, and down he went. I said, thanks. In the morning, we opened it up, and you know what it was? There was no sign on it, you know. When I'm figuring peaches, and we opened it up, it was powdered soap, every one of them.
jeez.
Powdered soap.
Well, did you say the Army had better rations than the Marines?
Oh, they had hot food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They had hot chow all the time.
And what did you have?
And
We
the
had
same,
we had C and K rations. We ate out of cans.
and the same, I mean,
Same island.
Same island.
Which C, down to our right, there was what, the 77th? Is that what it was? Remember, they're the ones that they relieved because they
Oh, it was the
completely-
27th.
127.
27, maybe.
They failed completely.
Yeah, they
And
screwed up.
they got relieved because we'd move forward and they'd hold back and the Japs would get between them and us and get behind our lines. You
Yeah.
know? So we complained enough, so they were taking the hell out of there.
And they lost
But we
their-
would see the hot chow trucks, we'd be up on a ridge and we'd see the hot chow trucks come up and feed those guys.
Yeah.
And we're eating out of cans, you know?
Oh, yeah.
but you went in first, then they
Well-
were behind you.
No, well, they were supposed to be with us.
But they.
We were in inland and they were supposed to be from us down to the beach,
but
moving down south.
They never moved it.
But we had a lot of people killed because of them.
Yeah.
They just didn't have it.
The
So they
leaders
replaced
didn't
them, and
make
they
them go.
replaced them with another outfit that was pretty good, I forget
Yeah,
what it
well,
was.
you know, they lost their color on another island too.
Yeah,
And they lost their color on Okinawa
yeah,
because of the screw up.
yeah.
Was it their fault or their leaders' fault? That
Well,
probably
it
didn't have-
basically was the leaders' fault.
We didn't care whose fault it was, but we're the ones that were catching hell, you know?
Well, then Harkins and I, when the island was taken, remember we doubled back because you bypassed a lot.
Yeah, we had to go back now and clean up. That was the worst part of the
That's
whole
when
thing.
we spotted something in the shrubbery and stuff. It was a Jap, and he jumped up with his arms up in the air. Well, 45, I ain't that accurate with a 45, so, but I wouldn't think. So we captured him, and I took his sword and a picture of him, and he had some money on him, paper money,
Yeah.
and Harkins took his watch,
Yeah.
and we turned him over though.
What do you mean by losing their colors?
They were overcome by the enemy, and the enemy got their flags.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
You
losing
know,
your colors.
and you basically you lose your pride when you.
That
lose-
happened to one Marine outfit over in World War I. I think it was there's there's one number where there's no division anymore. Is there no fourth? There's one Marine division or regiment that
There
lost
must have
its
been a
colors.
regiment, there wasn't no division.
No, a regiment that lost its colors over in World War II, and they have no more of that regiment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, World War I, I mean. World War I. Yeah.
But they,
Come on in, guys.
Mhm. But I had a question. Dutch, you had said that you first landed in New Guinea, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said that even though there had been fighting, but the bodies were piled up.
No, that was on New Britain, the
Oh,
body.
New Britain.
New Britain
Okay.
part.
So that was when you were just green coming over and you had
Yeah.
no idea what warfare was like until
Well,
you
I-
saw the bodies piled up? Is that it? The
Well, I
fighting
kind
was
of knew what it
over?
was like a little bit, but it just scared me, you know,
Yeah.
I still dream of them, you know,
Oh, yeah.
It was
I
like
think
a
I'm-
shock on arriving. You said, "Oh my gosh, this is
Yeah.
And but
I mean, they were
actually,
such good-looking guys, you know, it was, you know, just like cordwood, they just had them piled there like cordwood, you know?
Kids your own age?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
kids my own age, yeah.
Did you have to do any fighting on New Britain, or was it
Oh,
all
yeah.
secured by then?
Third day, I think it was about third day we moved up. I moved up in the jungle. You know, we had to go up through. It's all jungle there.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. You know? It's so dark. You know, you used to hang on to each other's pack and move up the line. You know, it rained 28 days straight there. You never was dry.
Yeah.
Like
Leeches, how about the leeches?
I
They
had,
did it bad.
I had sort of my, I don't know, pus bags all over my ankles.
Jungle rot.
Jungle
Yeah,
rot, I guess.
yeah, that was bad.
And how long then were you in the jungle there in New Britain doing that? I mean,
Well, we
fighting
must been there a
against...
month or so. I can look it up.
Yeah.
There's a book there.
4 or 5
Yeah.
weeks anyway.
You guys ever get a book like that?
So,
First Marine Division book.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have them.
Yeah.
The old breed? The old breed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 'em.
I ain't there no more. Where is it gone?
Oh, we got it.
Well, that.
so you consider that, is that like your first invasion? Is that what you consider it?
This is the president, I don't know where I did this.
That's, do you consider that like the first invasion that you were on?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first one, yeah. I didn't do much on New Guinea. I loaded ships, that's all. But I got a star for it, or battle credit for it.
Of course, you
Mhm.
landed.
Yeah.
And so then after you fought on New Britain, where did you go from there then?
Peleliu.
Oh, to Peleliu.
And then I went to Okinawa.
That was the hellhole.
That was John and them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when the rain hit Okinawa?
Oh, geez. Every night in a foxhole full of rain, yeah.
Sitting in the water up here.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you had to stay awake because you
Can I ask
drowned.
a question? Now, when did
New
you
Britain.
meet Tony?
I
And
don't
when
On
did you meet
Okinawa,
Matt?
Okinawa.
Yeah, no, I
No, you met him,
You met him in Pavuvu.
oh, I mean, just, can you recall when you first met?
No,
That's
a few years
ago.
The first thing the Dutch said when he saw Tony
There's a
was,
lot of men there, you know.
he's
yeah.
mafia. He said,
And
But you weren't fighting at the time you
No,
met, no?
no.
No, Pavuvu was a rest
Rest
area and a
area.
training area.
Oh,
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, no, that Pavuvu was paradise.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah,
The land crabs, God.
say that was an awful place. I didn't see
And,
that, thank God.
and the coconut falling
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
And one guy in the company got hit on the head with a coconut.
yeah, you
Oh,
get
yeah.
killed with one of
Yeah,
those.
good
Really?
90 feet, you know, they tell you
Good
never
thing
sit
it-
under
it
a
killed them.
coconut tree with anyone else but me, right?
Did you ever see the natives climbing up the trees to get the coconuts or anything? Or you never saw natives?
Over on Pavuvu, over on Benica, the natives, they call them the fuzzy wuzzies. That's not a good name, but they had fuzzy. And that one thing we noticed about them that
It was growing like somebody planted them.
Oh,
they were planted
they were
because they were all on
British.
a roll,
Oh,
weren't they?
yeah.
they were British, all British islands, and believe it or not, the British, the Americans had to pay them for
Oh,
all
yeah.
of the damage that was done to all of their coconut trees on these islands.
That's right.
After the
Is
war,
that
they all
Yeah.
got paid back, absolutely.
Right.
But we were in the war at the same time.
They didn't-
weren't
yeah.
But
This was
our
theirs.
government had to pay
Yeah.
British for
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
the trees.
Yeah, that
and
actually
everything,
happened.
Coconuts and everything.
Yeah. But getting back to the island now, we want to move along so that we'll finish this sometime. We get near the end of the island, and if you recall, we were, L35, was the first outfit to the end of the island. We got credit for that in the Old Breed News.
Yeah.
And I remember one day down there, we were there about a day, and McLean yelled out to DeRose, no, I saw him. I said, Louis, there's a guy in the weeds here, and I said, he's Okinawan, he's not a Jap. He says, how the hell do you know he's not a Jap? I said, he's not. He was just a little man like this, you know. And Louis says, shoot him. I said, I'm not going to shoot him. He's an Okinawan. He's just sitting here, and this is his land. Christ, give me a break. So he let me know that he didn't like what I said to him, and he told McLean, and McLean shot him. Shot him right in the head. I mean, that was murder.
Yeah.
Outright murder. But those are things that happen. But when we get down there, if you recall, we were under fire right on the beach. Remember, they were shooting at us from up, there was snipers fire coming from up above. This is
in Okinawa, you mean? Where we
on Okinawa, when we're at the very end.
And everybody was out there swimming in fresh
Yes.
water?
So the Japs, if you recall, they were jumping in off the cliffs and killing themselves or swimming, and of course we had guys sniping at them. You see a head bobbing in the water.
But we had to go down to get water. There was a spring down on the beach, down near there,
Everybody was in it.
cliffs. And we'd have to take turns, like you did, taking the canteens down and filling them up. You'd lay down just hoping, you know, you weren't going to get shot. That was the only water there.
Yeah.
A nice spring. And when it was my turn to go down, you have about 7 or 8 canteens, you know. You make more noise, you know, ding, 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 running.
Right.
When I got close, I crawled. And I got all the canteens filled and started crawling back. And then this guy, thank God he's a lousy shot, you know, was hitting sand all around me. So finally I got up and I said, if he's going to hit me, I'm going to be running, you know. I never want to say I got shot in the rear end or anything,
Yeah,
but
right.
I didn't anyway. But then we had to go back up, and all the places we bypassed where all the Japs still were. You remember, we had to do the dirty work.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
right.
And we had some guys got lost up there, if you recall.
Well, there's the same cliffs where the Okinawans would jump off that I read about.
Yeah, that's right there. And when we moved over to that area from where we didn't, another outfit did. That's where the Japanese officers committed harikari. But they forced all the Okinawans to jump off the cliffs with their children and wouldn't let them give up to us. You know?
So you saw them doing that?
We saw quite a few bodies jumping, yeah. And you can see it on film today. You know?
Yeah, right.
So then we went back up, and when it got all secured, they sent us up to the northern end of the island, right? For pretty good duty. The tents were up
Oh,
and everything
yeah.
else, but little did we know, of course, we're going to start preparing for the invasion of Japan.
Japan, yeah.
But what we didn't know was, and it's out now, that was going to be November 1st.
Yeah,
That we were going to invade Japan.
There were
November
going to be
1st.
1 million casualties.
On each side. And I always say, not because he did this, but in
Thank
my
God
mind,
for the bomb.
thank God for President Harry Truman.
That's right.
Who ordered the dropping of the bomb. You know, I still say
Right.
he was one of the greatest presidents we ever had. Not for that reason, but one of the reasons.
Because if it wasn't for the bomb, us three wouldn't be here.
Well, you look at what they were going to do. They would have fought man, woman, and child. They
Well,
said that it was going to be.
Remember when they told us with the little kids were going to have
Oh yeah, they were. Yeah.
beat us on the beach if we landed with grenades on them?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's documented now. They say they were going to fight to the death their
Little
homeland.
kids were going to have grenades, so-called greeting us.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then we went to China, right?
Give up their life for the emperor.
Tony, we went to China, went to Peking, and they made our company the MP company. Good thing they did, gave us a little responsibility, right? Huh?
Dutch, did you play softball too? With,
In the Greek War?
in China. In China.
No, I didn't play.
I played up
I
at the
wasn't good
northern end
enough.
of the island.
We played for $2,500. When did you get in that game?
I pitched that game on Pabugo.
I wasn't-
$2,500, wasn't it? Yeah, I guess it was. And we played K Company.
I Company.
I Company. Was
Yeah, we
Well,
played-
I wasn't good enough for him then.
No,
There was guys that were better ball players than I was.
I pitched that game, and we beat.
Oh, did you?
And
Well, you were better than I was, see.
We beat I Company, and that's when the company clerk, what was his name?
But everybody had money on it.
Yeah,
Everybody had money on it.
and the officers had more
Yeah,
money.
officer had
And-
more money. I had $5, I think it was.
And the officer clerk, he had the bugler blow taps for I Company.
When you beat them, right?
And he had pay call for L Company.
No.
Well, then when we went to Benica, before we were heading to Okinawa, we were supposed to play them again.
Yeah.
Never got off the first inning because it ended up in a free-for-all,
Oh.
because they hated our guts
Yeah.
for beating them.
There used to be a battalion team, right?
Yeah, but
And
we
then
did a job of
the K Company got to bragging how good they were, and the L Companies took over and beat them.
So when you got to China, and I think we all had a pretty good time up there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Enjoyed it pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, seeing the Forbidden City, the Great Wall of China, the Gobi Desert. I
Then
thought it was
Waco,
very interesting. The marketplace.
and then Waco with his roll call in the morning with the duck under his coat, and every time.
Bob Waco?
Yeah, and every time Perry was saying something, the duck would start quacking.
Well, that was appropriate.
And nobody was going to say who had the duck.
Yeah.
I hate to backtrack, but I mean, I'm trying in my own mind. You said New Britain was your first invasion, then Pavuva was like for rest and relaxation in quotes. All right. What was the second invasion then? That you
Peleliu.
Peleliu. Okay, and was
Then
that
we went back.
jungle also? What
Huh?
was that like? What kind of,
That's a hellhole.
That was just a 3 mile island,
Yeah.
just 3 miles around. It's just a small island, but they lost a lot of people there.
Should have been
Oh,
bypassed.
yeah. They should have been bypassed.
History said it should have been
yeah,
bypassed.
that was MacArthur again.
Nimitz. Nimitz gave in to MacArthur and said, we got nothing to do, we'll invade.
Yeah,
And they
right.
lost, what, 36?
Oh, God,
They were gonna take it in a couple of days.
Yeah,
I
but
thought.
they lost thousands of men in there. That
so
was-
how long were you on Peleliu then? A long
Oh,
time?
gee,
That was a couple of
It,
months.
it tells you in the book.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
a good couple of months.
I get the
No, well,
figures
that's
out.
okay, you know, it's
Couple of
quite a
months.
while then, right?
Well, it was a month or
And was
more,
that like
yeah.
jungle fighting, the same
Then we
as
went in
New
there
Britain?
with, we had gas masks and I was assistant fireman. I remember coming off the LST in the amphibious tank, you know.
Mhm.
I had my ammo, extra ammo, flushed the belt, packed. I don't know what I had in there, rations. And then I had-
Everything.
And I had that BR ammo on me.
Wow.
That's heavy, boy.
And that's heavy.
And you had to walk in
And
the
I had
water?
a gas mask. I had that helmet. I weighed 125 pounds.
Mm.
That weighed more than you did.
But I got on the beach, and I was just hoping I got on the beach.
Yeah.
And then I threw everything away but my rifle.
Yeah.
I didn't keep the bar with it.
Well, you sure are.
I just kept the rifle.
Were they
That's the only
shooting
thing I
at,
had.
were
I
they
didn't eat
shooting
for
at
3
you
or
when
4
you
days
landed?
anyway. I was so
Oh, no.
scared.
Yeah. Were they shooting at you when they landed?
Oh
on the
yeah,
beach?
they were before we got in the water. They were shooting. They were picking.
Yep, they were not.
They were coming right close to us, right on their LST. Your ramp, you know. You had coil reef. You couldn't walk in because it's coil, you know.
Oh.
So you
Oh,
had to
yeah.
walk in quite a ways, right in the water.
Well, you had to go around the beach there before we get in there because there's coil reef. We couldn't get out and walk. It was all coil, and they were throwing motors at us and coming in, you know.
That was heavily
And-
defended.
And they were hitting them too. They was hitting them like man.
Yeah.
I was just there hoping I'd make the land, you know.
Yeah.
Mm. And then you had
Because
to
if
work
it hit
your-
you, there would have been 25 or 30 guys in
Yeah, right.
one of the tanks.
Yeah.
You're dead, you know. You're,
Mm.
Well, that's like when we hit Okinawa on the landing craft that I was on, the ramp didn't go down. So we had to go up over
Jump
the
over the
side.
side.
Going over the side with the machine gun,
Yeah.
extra weight
Wow.
coming down.
Yeah.
And did you know how to swim at the time? When you
well, I
were-
always knew I swim, but it ain't no
When you got all that stuff, they
different
say,
kind. Yeah, I was
but-
weighted down. Yeah, when you come out of that LST, that old amphibious comes down here, right in the water, and up, you bob around and he goes.
Yeah.
and they claim that if you get over the side and when you're going down the ladder and you miss the boat, all of the stuff you're carrying, you don't know enough to let it go, and you go right to the bottom. But they lost people doing that too, you know. Yeah.
Well, surely the luck I had when we went off the ship onto the, down below for invasion, the other machine gunners had their machine gun lowered to them. Not me, I had to carry mine down.
Down the
So
level.
I'm holding on one arm, holding the machine gun this way, going down this ladder,
And the
holding
thing
it,
is swaying
and,
all the time.
And it's bouncing all over that I don't let go and hit a bunch of
Yeah.
my buddies below me. Well, that
But-
was something.
But you must have been soaking wet. Imagine the weight of all those clothes, soaking wet, shoes and everything. It's the one you could even make it to the beach. Imagine just wading through water, just yourself with all your clothes on.
No, I didn't go through the beach. I was in a tank, amphibious tank,
But how close to the shore did they bring you in?
right into the shore.
Oh, right into the
I
shore?
didn't have a ramp. You come down, you know, right in the shore. Then the third day, I threw everything away. The third day, somebody saw the gas.
Yeah.
And, well, hell, I'm dead.
Yeah. But there wasn't any
There
gas.
wasn't any gas. Somebody hollered, I don't know.
They did that on Okinawa. We threw a.
Yeah,
as soon
but you
as we
didn't
got
have
in-
gas masks, though.
We had gas masks
Yeah.
on Okinawa.
I didn't have
Yeah.
Well, you probably knew enough not to have one, but I
Probably
did.
threw the damn thing
I
away
never
when you
got
got there.
into the gas mask.
I did, and we landed, and everybody threw their gas masks away, and that first day, we moved in and made foxholes, and all of a sudden, this big cloud starts coming towards us, and everybody's yelling, gas, holy
Okay,
gee, everybody's
that-
running to the beach looking for gas
Yeah.
masks. What it was, the smoke from the artillery got everything going, it was smoke, it wasn't gas.
No,
Thank-
God,
Yeah, I remember that.
But then to get back now, so I have it straight in my own mind. All right, Peleliu then was your second invasion.
No, that was his third.
Really,
New
third.
Britain was the first.
New Britain, New Guinea.
New Guinea was first. I went right over to New Guinea,
New Guinea was the first invasion.
then New
Then
Britain,
New Britain. Oh,
Then
okay.
Peleliu.
Then Peleliu,
then
and
Okinawa.
then Okinawa. Now Okinawa's landscape was very different everywhere
Just like
before?
New
Was
England.
all jungle, is
Yeah.
that it? But Okinawa was like a different
It was like New
landscape?
England, hilly.
Yeah,
On the hills, yeah.
but everything else before that was all jungle, heavy jungle?
Well, no, like the Honolulu, it's all coil rock. There was no dirt at all. You couldn't dig a foxhole. You had to make your
But you had
foxhole.
all kinds of cliffs, you had the Three Sisters and all that, I remember reading about it, right?
You had to make your own foxhole
Yeah.
in there.
It's
You
all
had
coral, right?
all coil rock.
So there
The
was no
hills,
jungle
everything
there?
was rock.
Well, it was kind of jungly if you,
Oh, yeah.
I'll show you
Well,
pictures when we get home.
It probably is now. It's probably grown some now. I mean, that probably was vegetation, but
Yeah.
when I was there,
You got tillery.
I don't remember nothing but rock. That's
Yeah.
all it was is rock.
And you have to dig into the rock for a foxhole or just find an opening?
Well, you just pick up rocks and make your own foxhole. You make your foxhole instead of. Got behind a few rocks. And that's it. That was it.
Yeah, that's.
Did you have anybody that went with you from one invasion to the other that you knew closely? Or
Well, Cosmer was I went as far as him was. He lived in, like I said, in the loop there. Joyce don't remember him. We were together pretty close there, and even after the war, you know, and then he passed away. He went with us. He got wounded twice on Pellew, and I got two guys in Martoon got wounded twice, and they both went home. You know, one from New York, and then Eddie Cosmer, his name was, and he worked for Mayor Daley. He had a lot of stories about Mayor Daley.
Oh, yeah.
He used to be a inspector. He was
The old mayor,
Yeah.
The father.
The son,
Father,
yeah,
yeah.
the father. The son is the
He
mayor
used to
now.
inspect the
And
buildings.
the Holy
there.
Ghost is coming up.
He used to tell me all kinds of stories about that, you know.
No kidding.
Did any of you ever get wounded?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Last concussion.
did you, Tony?
No, I was lucky.
Yeah.
I was
They didn't dare hit a mafia guy.
The bullets were coming up, and he would have elevated his weapon.
Listen, you'd have so many near misses. I mean, look,
Yeah.
there's a guy with 4 invasions. I'm sure he had them
But
twisting.
I still don't remember carrying a gas mask on Okinawa.
Yeah, we
I
had.
never seen
Well,
that.
you guys are all veterans. Here we were, a bunch of rookies going in, and they gave us gas masks. And I dropped it right at the beach. But I didn't dare run back, but I figured I'd get shot for leaving my post.
There was one time where
I don't remember getting one.
Yeah.
Come in on I come in on a third wave.
Yeah, well, we had them anyway, Dutch. It was a 32nd.
I think our company was.
I wasn't with you,
was
don't
in
forget. I was with the 32nd
We were a
Replacement
reserve
Draft.
unit, weren't we?
Yeah.
The L company was reserve.
Well,
wasn't
I
it?
wasn't with L Company then. I was with the 32nd Replacement Drafts.
Oh,
Then
okay.
I joined you guys
Okay.
once I got on Okinawa.
I think we were reserve.
So you guys had been through battles, so I suppose they figured they don't need the gas mask because they're going to throw them away anyway.
Because we were playing cards and coming in on the damn landing.
We had Ernie Pyle with us going in.
We were playing
Ernie
cards on these little landing craft this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were old hat veterans.
No, I wasn't playing. There was 4 guys playing cards there.
Well, that was an easy invasion. Let's face it, there was no opposition at all. You walked right in, you know.
Oh, they weren't shooting at you as
No,
the
there were only
landing
about 4
craft
guys
rushed
killed
in?
altogether from sniper work, you know.
And that was on what place?
Okinawa.
Okinawa.
So
But
how
then
far
that
in
was-
did you get in before
Oh,
they
well,
started
I mean,
shooting?
it took them a while to realize where the Japs were. They were up north, and they sent the 6th Division up there for them. And they had some battling up there. That's all hilly, mountainous stuff. And we started moving south, and they fought a defensive battle. You got to realize the Japs were on that island for hundreds of years, and they had all this time to make intricate cave work through all of the hills and stuff. You know, they even had 40 millimeter anti-tank guns that were on rails. They'd bring them out and shoot, and then bring them back. They could never find out where they were. I mean, they really. But how long? Oh, once we started south, then we knew it hit the fan there.
Yeah.
You'd have some days you'd have
Then
massive.
we hit them from behind, but then they were expecting us to hit from the south.
Yeah, they did.
And we hit from
We
the
came
north.
into the middle of the island,
And then we came around.
6 went north and we went south. But they were waiting for us, believe me. You know that. So. But then, after all that was over, we went to China, and we all had a pretty good time over there, right?
Yeah.
There were about 6 months. I don't know if you were there that long. I think you went home before I did. You had more points than I did.
I think I come home January 30th.
Oh,
Well,
well,
you remember
we came home
time,
pretty
uh,
much the same time then.
January 30th I come
The
home.
one night that we're on Liberty in China, all of a sudden the word come out that the commies were supposed to
Yeah,
attack
the
the city,
Chinese Reds were going to attack the city.
and we all had to get back.
Yeah,
get
it was a
the
false
equipment out
alarm,
right
thank
away.
God. But That's one of the reasons we got out of China, because we lost, I think, 14 men killed
we
on the
lost-
railroad doing
yeah, right.
duty up there. We didn't have to go up there. We were
How you
lucky.
doing?
Oh, there's Patrick.
Hey, Pat.
Mhm.
Kelly.
So then you came home. We'll kind of wrap this up. You came home in January. You headed home in January. You about the same time.
Oh,
I was one of the first ones to come home.
You had to be, because you had all the points.
I think
But I got discharged in Great Lakes in Chicago.
When did you get discharged? In the 30th of February of January.
January, wasn't it?
Well,
Was
I
that
got discharged
1945?
46.
46.
46, okay.
So I got discharged February 14th, 1946. So I probably was in the second ship after you, and you must have been about the same.
46.
46.
Well, when
Crash would have been the first one to come home too.
Yeah,
but he
but
didn't,
you must have as many points as he did. You had to have.
I got discharged out of Great Lakes, and that's when I told you they told us don't burn your sea bag outside, because some Marine did, and they arrested them because that's destroying government property because you're still under
Yeah.
government ruling for
Oh, they
so
had
many
ways.
hours. So they said
They were still
"Don't
chicken,
do it."
right? They
Yes,
were still
I
chicken.
mean, that's how strict they were.
Yeah.
And then when I got on the train to go home, I had the sea bag and I had the Jap sword. People were looking at me kind of strange on the train.
Yeah. I had the same thing. I had a Jap sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the story of the three Marines sitting in front of you here. There aren't many of us really left. I think there might be 6 or 7
When things
of
got
the
burned.
original. Huh, Dutch? 6
Yeah.
or 7 maybe, if that.
if there's that.
It says that. Of the original
I'd have to think
241
well,
men.
John.
Hmm?
I'd have to think well.
I'd say that it wouldn't be any more than 7, probably, of the original that we went down south with, and from Okinawa I'm talking about. There aren't many anyway.
Yeah.
Because actually, in my machine gun squad, there's just 2 left.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, you know.
No, I mean, me and
Yeah.
Hobbs from down in Illinois. He was with Patch.
Well, it's you and I and
But
Wolf.
the rest all died and got
Who
killed.
else? There were rifles.
Bob Sabatka. We're from Washington.
Yeah.
Bob Sabatka.
Well, I'm saying, 6
Yeah.
or 7 would be tops of the
And,
241 men.
And then what about Rudy from Wisconsin?
Rudy, it's not rutabaga, that's a turnip, it's Rudy Berger.
Rudy Berger from Wisconsin.
Rutabaga, he calls him. That's a turnip.
Who else?
That's why I used to write you love letters. You didn't know how to spell, so I I gotta tell you one story. I gotta tell you one story before I forget.
Okay.
One day, there was nothing going on. This is like in the middle of Okinawa, the middle of the battle. And it was a perfectly quiet day, which we're happy to see. You may remember this, or maybe you don't, but I remember it vividly. So Dutch is sitting in a foxhole, like this, with his back to the foxhole, and he's reading a letter, probably from Joyce, And so I'm up behind, shut up, will you? He never learned to shut up when I'm talking. So he's reading a letter, and I'm up in back with Dozier and Monty, and Dozier hands me this hand grenade that was a fake hand grenade. It was empty. There was no powder in it, It was a Jap hand grenade we had got a hold of when we emptied the powder. We had a lot of fun with it for the whole campaign, but this is this one day. And he's back there like this, and he's reading a letter, and we yelled out grenade, and I just dropped it right in his crotch. And he took one look at it, and he yelled, Ma!
Do you remember that?
Oh,
Deb?
Jesus. Oh, I'm telling you, I thought those were going to roll off the hill down to the Japs.
Well, talk about grenades. We had one of the guys on our platoon. Remember, they always warn you don't put the grenade up here.
It sprung on him?
Yeah. Well, he pulled it out like that,
Oh, jeez.
and put it in,
Pull the pin.
and then killing him.
Yeah, well,
God.
that happened, But anyway, here we are. This is the boy here. He's only 75. I'm 77, and Tony is the old man of the outfit, 78. And again, you don't want to say too much about Tony because he's a member of the mafia, and he'll get back at you, But I'll tell you, I personally, I'd like each one to say something to end it. But I'm very honored to be here, to have been to your 50th for you and Joyce.
And I've always cherished the both of you guys as my friends.
Same here.
Thank you.
So I'd like each one of you to say
John?
something as you,
Semper Fi.
Simplify, yeah.
Right.
I guess that wraps it up then,
Yeah.
okay?